Good evening, ENAGIC family. It's a beautiful evening on Tuesday night, March 5th. We're doing another interview with the 6A's of ENAGIC, the stars of ENAGIC. As we know, facts tell, but stories is what sells. And this is what tonight's all about. It's to hear the success stories of the leaders in ENAGIC who have changed over 101 people's lives, brought in over $300,000 worth of sales. By the way, they say only 1% of the people who join ENAGIC become a 6A. That's huge. So that means 99% of people who come into ENAGIC, they're coming to ENAGIC just for the technology, just for the water, not even really knowing about this opportunity that can allow them to manifest their dreams and make their realities come true. And that's what it's all about. It's about being in full control of your life, laying out your destiny for you and your legacy so you can, live the life of your dreams. And that was one thing that I wanted for myself a long time ago, once upon a time, 18 years ago, when we first launched ENAGIC, me and my father and Jelena and the Daffish family, 18 years ago in 2006. And, it started with one family at a time. And now 18 years fast forward, we are one of the original master distributors, 6A 2-6 and beyond, as all the positions that we have. So the only difference between me and everybody else, it's really just time in the game. And that's what it's about. It's about investing your time, your energy, your love into yourself and into your family, and then you can invest it into others. But you have to step into your potential first before you can help anybody else. And so tonight, I'm bringing on my good brother Mehdi and his beautiful wife. Well, they're both beautiful individuals, but Magali, beautiful souls. Their souls radiate from the inside out. That's what life's about, and that's what I mean by beautiful. Of course, it shines from the inside, and these two individuals wear their heart on their sleeves. They love to help others, and they understand struggle. They understand trials and tribulations. They understand society, putting that hardship and that burden of control upon them, and they found a way to break through the monotony, the rat race of society. And man, what they've done with their home, they've created their own ENAGIC office in their home. They've been doing this for quite some time. He's going to tell you a story of how long he's been in ENAGIC. And me and Matney, we actually have a lot in common. So we're both from the same culture, the same faith, the same belief system. And that's what I love about ENAGIC. You have your immediate family, and then all of a sudden you meet beautiful souls around the world, and you kind of bring in that extended family because we're all one big family. And that is the mission of ENAGIC, to unify the world underneath the umbrella of ENAGIC. Because what are we here to represent? We're here to represent to help people achieve enhanced true time financial freedom through achieving true health, physically, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. And that's what it's about. And that's what every human being, every soul on this planet desires. And that's what, God willing, we can help them achieve. And I just want you guys to really take some notes tonight and really soak it in between Mehdi and Magali, their love story, how it began with ENAGIC, how ENAGIC has empowered their lives. And now their next step on what they're going to do and branch around the world. So it's going to be an exciting call tonight. So I don't want to do too much speaking. I'm going to let them take it away, because these are power hitters right here. So that's what I love. When you bring on a power hitter onto the call, they know how to take it away. So enough of the edification and the recognition that I'm giving these two beautiful souls. Mehdi, my dear brother, why don't you go ahead and let everybody know first, of course, where you're from, your age, what drew you and your wife Magali into ENAGIC, and what blessings that it's brought you guys, and how you guys achieve 6A, and how you support your teams, and then and then what you see, of course, for the future. So I'll let you go ahead and start, my brother, being on the call.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to make a quick prayer. Please, God, inspire us, give us the right words to give people the right value, because remember, this call is about you, not us. We already have the blessing. So with that being said, my name is Mii Cohan. I'm 35 years young. I am from Morocco, and my wife, she's from Colombia. And that's how basically the whole thing started. And just to kind of put it back into place, ENAGIC has gave us such tremendous freedom that I didn't even know how to start with this story. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like we've been doing this, drinking the water, we've been drinking it for 8 years now. So you can imagine how this started in our lives. And the business side, it's been about 4 years. And what got me involved with this whole journey with Dia was the product. In the beginning, honestly, it doesn't matter if I was entrepreneurial, hustler, I really was attracted to the product because of how I saw alkaline water at the time. You know, I was getting alkaline bottles and they were super expensive. So once I started seeing as just something for me and my family, it makes sense. I'm already buying this expensive bottled water. How can I have something that makes it forever? And that's how I got involved. And long story short, man, we dove deep, man, to the technology, understanding the facts about the science and all of that afterwards.
Well, the first exposure was your video, your demo. And like he stopped me. He's like, no, we need to get this. I don't care. We need to get this machine. And I'm like, okay, let's. He's like, no, we want to invest in this machine. Like that demo that you had, like it blew his mind away.
Yeah, the Kangen King demo was powerful because to me, imagine this, it felt like something from the future whenever I got exposed to this, because we don't think water is water. Until this moment, people still think water is just water. So imagine my mind-blowing moment that I had saying, wow, this technology. And diving a little bit about the venture of ENAGIC, I was entrepreneurial. I was a hustler from the get-go because of my situation, my immigration status. I could not work legally. There's so much stuff I couldn't do. So I saw the benefit in a sense because I was a hustler and entrepreneur, and we sold a couple machines, we sold a couple units and helped a couple families out. And it was just the water sells itself. To me, I was not a salesperson. I was just somebody that was exposing what worked for me. And it was the thing that put ENAGIC as like this umbrella, when I'm like, every time the business side started to become bigger in my life, and bigger as I got to know the product. So in the beginning, I think we were not exposed to leaders like you, Adia, the top earners of this company, the people that saw the vision, the people that saw this mission. We were not exposed to that. So it was a struggle in the beginning. We all were doing our thing, trying to reinvent the wheel and doing our own way. But the moment when I went to my first event, it was in Florida. We met you for the first time. We didn't exchange stories or anything, but I was starting to see the bigger picture. I started to see, wow, there's big people doing this. I don't know who are they, but there's people doing this. And it started to build that belief system. And that's why you guys always say that these events, they drive the business. You don't really understand what you guys mean when you're saying that as a new person. You know what I'm saying? You're like, what do you mean this event? It's like a party? What is that? And then you start going and you start feeling that 9.5 vibe, because it's a vibe, and you know what I mean. And you start seeing all these people all high on water. I'm like, whoa, what is this? And so long story short, we started going to bigger events. We started doing road trips with the
yeah. Talk about that, because you guys, you can't necessarily hop on a plane. I mean, your story is a story of difficulty, and that's what people on this call really need to hear. Because a lot of people feel like they can't do this. Oh, I got too many roadblocks. Well, you want to talk about roadblocks? This is, these two couple right here had all the roadblocks. So you guys live in
the country 5 times.
So South Carolina. So South Carolina is where you reside. They want to go to Las Vegas. That's what, is that like a 5-day week trip?
40 hours, but it tends to be almost 3 days to 4 days
on the road.
If you're just getting it.
Commitment. I love
Remember,
that.
she's the one that's driving, and I'm I'm like the worst co-pilot, man. I fall asleep as soon as she gets on the wheel. We haven't even hit the highway and I'm falling asleep. And she's driving
determination
by herself. Like,
make it possible.
Yeah.
That's honorable. That, you know, I mean, to me, I mean, I know so many people out there that want to do this and they got so many struggles. I think this is going to resonate with so many people. The fact that no matter what, if you have that will, if you have that intention, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. And that's why that saying is so realistic, you know, and it's that determination and the fact that you're not going to let anything stop you from achieving your dreams. And let's talk about, first of all, you know, it wasn't easy for you to even build a team. So out of 100 sales on your way to 6A or 101 sales, how many were your directs?
Oh, dude, we have over 90 directs. It was like, you know what I'm saying? When we got to this venture, it was just so natural because it was my community. It was part where I was talking to these people. I already built, you know, a culture and trust around them. So when it came about telling them about this technology, and always the technology backs me up and it's always there. The science is there. Now the science is catching up with our movement, you know? So it was just amazing.
We were sharing water like crazy. Like I remember one time we put a filter in. 3 months later, the filter is replace filter. That's how much water
3 months.
we were sharing here.
Well, let's talk about that. So, in order to change the filter, that means you have to go through about is it 1,500 gallons in 3 months. And you know what? I've actually heard a lot of success stories of where people hit 6A in a short period of time. And I said, "What was your secret?" They said, "We would give out like pallets and pallets and pallets of water." It's a numbers game. So if you want 200 people in your business, the statistics is it's 1 out of 20. So that means you need to connect with 2,000 people. 2,000 people to get 200 people in your business, and you have a couple hundred people in your business. So that means you've connected with a few thousand people to get to where you're at, because you're going to get more no's than you are yeses, because a lot of people don't know what they need. Exactly. So you have to educate them and remind them, and you became a huge educator. I mean, let's talk about some of the skills you guys have mastered. I mean, look at your background. Your background space is better than mine. Mine's just a plain home. But
you know what? You have the office with you. You know, you got the Torrance office. Remember, whenever we started doing these road trips and stopped in these ENAGIC offices all over the US,
Mexico, Texas,
yeah, exactly. It was
California, Vegas, like.
So you guys don't have an office, so you had to create an office.
We didn't, like. I don't want people to think they have to do this. First of all, and just
passion, baby, it was your passion.
We just were like, I feel that vibe. I'm gonna make my garage where when people come, they can feel that same energy. That's all I wanted to replicate, is the energy I felt in all these different offices that I got to.
Oh my God, I'm just loving what I'm hearing. I mean, just the passion.
Environment, you know, because the environment when we're spending like 8 hours, 7 hours a day, we wanted to feel like, you know, something serious. You know, we're working, we have the cameras, we have computers. So I feel like the environment also helped a lot to keep us focused and, you know.
Because, you know, we're working from home. So the environment you create will dictate how you work and how you do things.
100%. 100%.
I feel like I'm in my home, even though I have the comfort of being home. Whenever I'm done, I can just go in and I'm home.
and then since social media's come and taken over, now you're crushing it on doing reels and videos, your YouTube channel. And if you want, why don't you place your YouTube channel in the chat so everybody can have access to your YouTube channel, because he's got some great content, and that's what it's about. It's about creating content. That's what people need to understand is mastering the basics. It goes into how you invite, how you present, how you follow up, how you're sharing it. You know, what's your posture? You know, the credibility and the value that you're giving to somebody so they can see what it is that you're trying to get across. The experience. Remember, he's been to all these different events. So, and that's why he's winning. I mean, 90 sales out of 100. Man, I mean, you beat me. I mean, I had 34 sales.
Hey, but the story here, let me tell you the story with you. the story here was my friend that got me introduced. Because think about this, you know, he got me involved, he told me about it, and you know, I saw all this great, you know, he was the one that showed me your video, and it just blew my mind. So I started crushing it, I started running, and the benefit that he gotten, like the way he tells me all the time, like, thank you, bro. It was almost around, I don't know the numbers because we can't put claims of any numbers out there, but it was around like 50K that he made of my efforts. And that's the story I want to leave with you guys, because you never know who you're going to bring into your business and who's going to take it to that level, right? Because in my story, I used to focus about me doing this and how hard it was and the difficulties of the hard work that some people don't want to do. But then I start seeing, what about his story? He brought me on and I did this and he got this benefit. And I'm like, wow. So it doesn't matter if you're the person that made the directs or the indirects. Guess what? ENAGIC covers all of it. We're all in it. You know, and that's why, like, the moment he decides to do his business now, he just has to make qualification, hit 6A, and guess what? He's back on track.
You're absolutely correct, because I mean, I know what you're talking about. I mean, when it comes to this business, there's two types of distributors. You have the hunter, who's the master recruiter, and then you have the farmer. And the farmer's great at, you know, delegating, creating content, you know, leadership, training, all that extra fun stuff. But the meat of the potatoes here is the recruiting. And I understand, I built 12 positions myself. And that's the beautiful thing about ENAGIC. I had someone ask me today, you know, why UConn? What's so important about UConn? And why so many positions? And I said, there's 3 ways ENAGIC is going to pay you. And when you're very brand new and you're just between 1 to 6A, you don't understand all the ways. You only stand one, and that is the 8 points, the direct sale and the indirect sale within those 8 points. But then as you're hitting ranks, new doors of commissions are opening up for you. And I told them that when you're at -3, the comp plan changes. So that is where it's saying, like I said, so the first part is what? It's the 8 points. The second part is the rank. Yep. And then the third is the volume, right? The residual outside of the 8 points. And so for me, I knew that. I saw that because, you know, I saw what my father was leading with, you know, and how that main position of ours was crushing it. And I said, well, I want a few of those positions myself. So I actually know what it's like to build multiple positions. And that's actually what you're doing yourself. And I told you, I educated you. So you actually have a minimum at least 3 positions, correct?
Yeah, we have, exactly. It's almost 4. We have one that's kind of dead that we're not doing anything with, but we do have our 3 positions that we're working, and it's awesome. Like, it doesn't matter the way you're building, as long as you understand the basics of ENAGIC. And that's what I'm shifting into right now, is that fact of me going through and understanding that ENAGIC has 3 pillars that we cannot discard. Because as much as I love the product, as much as I love helping people that are sick and that need this in their life to make a better lifestyle choice, I want to help people that are sick financially too, man. And because once you start understanding, why does Mr. Oshiro patented his comp plan in the first place? Why? Because he knows it's the power of the community too that people are lacking in this world. And people are, if I can shorten the frame of the 40-year lifespan that a person might spend to retire and to get this promised life, shorten that to a fraction or to a half of portion, I think I've done my job as a human being to give back. And that's why I love this company, because I never in my wildest dream thought I was gonna teach people about water. Most people think water is just water, man. But now it's because it's bigger than me. This mission and this whole vision, once we start understanding Mr. Oshiro's plan and his, 3 pillars that he talks about, the mental health, the financial health, because if you're grinding and waking up at 8 in the morning to go clock in, and you're telling me you don't need this business side of what I have to offer, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a hypocrisy in a sense, because you can go clock in and have a 40-year, you know, not even a promise, because what happened if your job goes broke and now you don't have an opportunity that was supposedly in a stable career? So it's so much to go into, but you know, just understand we have something solid. So I'm not in the convincing business anymore. About 6 months ago, I would say I had the eagle's birth or rebirth happen to me. Have you heard the story? Because they live about 70 years, and around their 40-year mark, the eagle goes through this. His beak becomes dull. He cannot hunt anymore. His claws, they don't work, that they're not as sharp anymore. His feathers, they're not as powerful. He can't fly high anymore. So either he decides to quit and die, or I think it's 170 days that he goes through this transformation where he goes to the top of the mountain, breaks his beak, so a new beak starts to grow. Once the beak grows, he will pull out his claws from his hand and let the claws grow, and then he will pluck all his feathers, let his feathers grow, and he has another half of his life again, and he's a new eagle. So wow. That's the place that I'm in this moment of my life. It's that's why I lead with all of it. And if it's not for you, I get it. It might not be for everyone, this business venture, but I'm not going to negate that. Into one point of your life, you might get it, and you might tell me, hey dude, why you didn't tell me, why you didn't emphasize on this business opportunity? And that's how I led in the beginning, product, because that's how I got started. So it was my natural instinct to do. But now when I understand the bigger vision, the bigger purpose, the bigger thing that we have going on here, so I'm preparing. I've been preparing the 6 months, dude. I've been plucking my feathers.
So what's next? Are you gonna conquer the world now? You got the whole claws, the feathers. Because you've mastered everything that has to do with ENAGIC, from presentations to installing machines to, I mean, you name it. You've got more skills than I got when it comes to these things, because you know you've really kind of like you've just captured it all, and you live it every day. And I want people to recognize that if you really want to be the best, you got to become the best. You got to master everything that has to do with ENAGIC, from knowing the science, from knowing the installation, from knowing how to do a demo, to, you know, doing the reels. I mean, you're doing it all. And you're right. I think you do have the new birth coming, because now I finally feel like you're going to attract the right type of leaders. Because people ask me, they say, Wadia, how did you just go so quickly? You just, for like 4 or 5 years, you were at a certain point and then you took off. And I said, within the first 5 years of ENAGIC, within the first, I would say 3 to 4 years of ENAGIC, I was mastering it to where I was I was actually the youngest guy in the company. Meaning that when I say oldest, me and my father were one of the originals. We were before the millions of people, right? The company was only doing like 300 sales a month, but I was the youngest person. I was 28. There was only a few of us. And so, but within those few years, I wanted to shine. I wanted to be that guy who, if there was someone coming to ENAGIC, they'd say, who's the hottest, youngest, top guy in the company? That's who I want to join. And actually, that's what happened to me, is I stepped into that leadership. I stepped into that mastery to where I was the best. I wanted to be the best. And so when other network marketing companies started to crumble because they're nothing like ENAGIC, ENAGIC's going to last. When we're dead and gone, ENAGIC's still going to be here. But these other network marketing companies, they come and go. They're not going to last. So if you become the best, you're going to attract the best. And when these other companies fell, and they were young leaders, young entrepreneurs, your uplines, they were young. So who they want to relate to? Somebody young that they can relate to. And it was just me. And I remember Faustin, who's one of way up in your upline, he said to me, he said, man, Wadia, you're like so famous in ENAGIC, but nobody knows you because you have no videos. So can you create a content? And that's why I created that one video with Kevin Lowe, who's also your upline, wow. And that video went viral, but that's what it's about. And that's the duplication, because now, man, you're doing way better than I ever did. But the thing is it's the patience. So what the golden nugget I'm going to give you might be, stay strong, hold on to the stubborn, which is the patience, because it's going to be your time. You've been digging for gold, digging for diamonds, but you're like that. You're right there. And all of a sudden you're going to attract these leaders. They're going to come in and you're going to be able to teach them more than I could ever teach anybody, because you've mastered so many basics. And I know the next step for you is, I hear that you and Nagel you're gonna travel the world. Yep. You're gonna go abroad, because let people know. I mean, it's not easy. Once you go, it's hard to come back. Yep. You know what I mean? And so talk to us a little about that. The fact that has it been 8 years? 8 years you've been cultivating your mastery. You've done as much as you can, that being able to gather the fruits from your labor that of our society, of the U.S. could give you. Now you're like, you know what, we're gonna take over, because you speak Arabic fluently and you speak Spanish fluently. You know what I mean? Your wife I believe is Colombian, correct?
Colombian, yep.
Yeah. So you guys are gonna go into Morocco and take over. You're gonna go into Colombia and take over. You're gonna conquer the world. And I feel like, and you're also gonna be going to Japan in June. So express now some of this vision of the future that you see for yourself, or that you want to manifest and you want to create, because it's all about vision. It's all about dreams. And we understand. We heard of the past 8 years. Now, what do you see for your future?
Oh, Wadia, great question. And I want to start it off by the past event when we went to Vegas to the 49th anniversary. In our way, because when you do road trip, you have a lot of time to ponder and think and talk, and we use those times to grow and talk. And we kind of figured that whatever this is going, it might not be here because of the 50th anniversary. So we kind of had a hint that it was not being in the US. So we made a prayer. We made a prayer to God saying, like, please guide us to whatever that needs to happen in our life, and we will follow through. So he basically lead the way. We went to the event, and Wadia, kid you not, the moment I saw the Okinawa, Japan, I felt all kinds of things, like to be straight up.
It's beautiful. What I'm saying? I've been there twice.
It broke me, and it made me happy. It made me like I felt all kinds of emotion, because now I know I was being tested, and either I go through and fall through the test, or I keep in my fear and in my little comfort zone. And that's the biggest thing that I want to show you guys. I had a lot of time in my belt because of my situation. The biggest thing that was my worst event that happened to me ended up being my best event, because it gave me a lot of time. So since I had a lot of time in my belt, I was able to do a lot of growing. I spent time watching videos, and I was able to develop myself and use the time that I had wisely. So that's literally what we did. And now it's like that shift again. It's like, what are we doing? It's like that re-shift of where are we going? So since the prayer was answered, now we are preparing with we're preparing to launch Morocco. We're preparing to launch Colombia. We have different material on content that we are working on, translating it to the different languages that we're gonna need. So what I'm telling you, yes, it might be scary. It is my biggest fear right now, but I'm facing it, because through the biggest fear that you might have lies the goodness, and lies the green grass and the other side, basically.
Pastures of blessings.
Yeah, so that's literally, we understand the process, we know, and guess what, Wadia? We are leaders now. Even though, you know what I'm saying, the results don't seem to be there what you want, as like having the leaders in the team and you want, but I can see it possible now. I see 682-3 way possible, doing this shift and facing my fears, because it's gonna make me grow, because I hid under this ENAGIC beauty umbrella, because it let me work, even though without having my papers, without having my name. I was building a business for about 8 years. I just now officially have my Mii Cohan account. You know how bro, it's emotional, dude, because it's I've been working it. I've been working behind the scenes, you know, and a lot
I get it, man. I see it.
don't see that behind the scene. And what I want you to take from this is grow. Take the time to develop who you want, and whatever you decide to do, give it your 100%. And that's what differs from the pros and the Joes in life. It's how do we do the things we do. And I'm passionate, and I'm really excited about all these shifts. As nervous it's only because I'm excited and I'm in love with this mission. So that's how it is, man. We've been having sleepless nights. I've been talking to people in India because it's 12-hour difference. So imagine you got to wake up at different time zones just to be on a Zoom call to talk to these people. So now it has, because I made a shift in me, I am seeing the fruit of that shift, as well with the years that I accumulated everything that I need. So when I'm saying that, I don't want people to get stuck to only want to learn the product so much that they discard the other value that ENAGIC has to offer.
No, I get 100%, man. You know what? All you need to do, the secret sauce to this, is the faith and the belief and the trust in God. The world is our home. Everything. It's not, we're not limited. The entire earth. And I know that you're going to receive the blessings and the bounties from going into Europe and going into these other countries, because you're going to be more relatable to them. You know what I mean? And that right there is the key aspect. And when you tell your story of what you've done and created in the US, and now you're going global, and most people are living their lives on the road, and they're traveling, and they're, you know, in Thailand or in Indonesia or India, they're in different parts of the world of Europe. And they're like, yeah, you know, I'm from here, I'm from there, but we're, you know, the world now is smaller because of social media. And now you have a presence. So I really think that this is good. This is the start of a new beginning for you. And I'm super excited for you both. I've seen you guys come so far. I can't wait till more blessings come into your life, so you can really reap the fruits of your labor, which is, you know, a legacy and children. I mean, that's the dream life. And I always let people know, I didn't think it was possible. Me, at all. I used to tell my dad, you're crazy. I've been gone for 10 years. I don't know anybody. I have no friends. I don't even know how to work a phone or a laptop. I couldn't even see 3A. So if I know that, you know, and this is why it's so important for the leaders always to be present, to be accessible and available to their teams, is because people need to see the results. They need to know that it's possible. And that's what's so beautiful about this movement that we've created with Leaders on the Rise, is that it's a home for everybody, because there's a lot of times people don't have leadership. And the fact that you can be that leader, or you can become that leader and create this home for everyone to come to let them know that, hey, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It is possible. All you got to do is stay focused, you know, write those goals, be organized, master the basics, keep on the due diligence, be diligent, have the grit, have the faith, have the belief, and just keep going. And, you know, yeah, you're a 6A and you're almost a 6A2 from your own efforts. But honestly, my business, I want you guys to know, from the lack of leadership when I first started this, the lack of leadership that I had, the inexperience that I had, I was stuck. I hit 6A very quickly within like 10 months, which some people hit it sooner, right? Some people took a little while. I hit 6A2 probably like 6 months later, but then I was stuck at 6A2 for at least a year, like a year and a half. And then 6A2-2 came, and then but at 6A2 my business died. Like my leadership died because I didn't connect and build relationships with the people that I originally had in my business. So I had to reinvent myself, kind of like what you're kind of going through. I had to reinvent myself, step into the mastery, because my dad said something to me. He said, man, you're like one of the most incredible speakers and trainers in ENAGIC, but in order for you to be in the Millionaire Club, son, you need to be the man on stage, off a stage. You need to be living your purpose. You need to be living it present every single second of the day, because the most important event of the event is the event after the event. You know what I mean? When you step off the stage and you're connecting with people. And that really clicked with me. And I always let people know, I had to reinvent myself, kind of like what you're kind of going through. I had to reinvent myself, step into the mastery, because my dad said something to me. He said, man, you're like one of the most incredible speakers and trainers in ENAGIC, but in order for you to be in the Millionaire Club, son, you need to be the man on stage, off a stage. You need to be living your purpose. You need to be living it present every single second of the day, because the most important event of the event is the event after the event. You know what I mean? When you step off the stage and you're connecting with people. And that really clicked with me. You know what I mean? And so I said, you know what, you're right. And because I was stuck as a 6A2 and my team had died. And a lot of people that are 6As, they'll experience that, like, oh, my team's done. I've been doing it all by myself. This has been a lot of hard work. But then when you reinvent yourself, right, and you dive into that self-development, and you step into that leadership, that presence, and you attract it. Well, that was in that time when I was like, I'm going to be the best. No more settling for less. No more half stepping it. You know what I mean? I'm going to just put my all, 100%. And then that's when I started to attract all these young millennials and these young people. And I went from literally -2 to -3 to -4 within just a couple years. You know what I mean? That the top account that me, Jelena, my dad share, that's just whatever. That's just a master account. You see what I'm saying? But we have like 20 other accounts, and I have 12 myself. So it was just about building and building and building. And I think you're there. That's where you're at. You're at the point where you're like, you know what? I'm going to spread my wings, and I'm just going to take off with my wife. That's all I need. You know, my other half of my faith, the best version of me, right? Because that's what my wife is to me. And when I got married, my business shot through the roof. I mean, -2, -3, -4. I came when my wife came into my life. You know what I mean? Because I was taking it 100% serious. I didn't want any distractions in my life. And just like it happened for me here, it's going to happen for you when you just connecting all over the world, traveling, meeting people, meeting entrepreneurs, because you know what to look for. I mean, you got it. You got it. I mean, I'm super excited. I'm going to miss you guys, but we're going to stay connected on social media.
We're going to put you to work, dude. We're going to have with Dia, hey, we got a big, huge event. We need top leaders. You know what I'm saying? We're going to identify the leaders, because now we are in that stage where we can see them. Like, you know how sometimes when people can't see something, how can they give it if you can't see it? So the first step is always you. That's why even Jim Rohn says to work harder on yourself than you do on your job or you know what I'm saying? Just overbroke. You have to work harder on yourself, because when you master yourself, you tend to grow, you tend to have changes, you tend to get better, you tend to attract different mindset, different types of crowds, different types of people. But if you stay the same, how can you expect change? And that's why we love this. Like, part of this whole journey is personal development. It's a must. We sometimes, instead of music, I'm just going through different talks. I got different programs on the ENAGIC business. We've been mastering how to close the quad, like training on that. We've been mastering all these things. And you know what I'm saying? Preparing. Like Noah's Ark, he was preparing, and they looked at him, laughed at him, like, you're crazy, you know, and the moment the flood came, you know, we're ready. We're ready. And that's literally the stage where we at with Dia. And no hype. This is the facts. This is what happened in our journey. Like, a lot of this stuff people don't even know. So that's what we're exposing, part of this story. Like, a lot of this story that I said here, I haven't said this is the first time, because it was because I was going through that shift, and because I saw it differently, that I was able to articulate this different growth. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So here's another one for you guys to kind of evaluate and to look at. So you were mainly leaning with the water, so you were attracting a lot of customers. So that's why out of the 100 sales and you did 90 yourself, is because it was all about the water and it was attracting those customers. And I understand that, because when I was 6A2, from 6A to 6A2, that's what it was for me. Until my father said to me, it was a great advice, because as you know, he was an owner of a network marketing company, and he was a pro in the industry 10 years before ENAGIC came. And he said to me, he said, son, you work harder than anyone that I know. Right. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I'm like, you're kind of right. He's like, but the thing is this, it's not about working hard. It's about working smart. He says, I'd rather attract one professional leader who can bring in thousands of people than go bring thousands of people myself. He says, that's what you need to master. And that's when I kind of shifted. And this is my one thing that you guys want to, maybe you're probably already doing it. I shifted from so much of just the water to pitching the entire dream of ENAGIC, the entire mission, which is true time financial freedom, the opportunity side. So now I'm looking for professional network marketers, online marketers, just people that, you know, want business, success business. And that's why the quad works so well, because if I'm a successful businessman and I know what it's like to invest in the business and how much money to spend, I'm not going to be impressed if you're pitching me on a $300 UCON. Just not going to happen if I don't know anything about ENAGIC, right? So most people are talking to people though that are from, like, either they're young, they haven't tasted success, and they gotta approach with the small entry product. But the reason why people are selling quads so well is because they're attracting business-minded individuals. So they go, hey, I have a business that's, you know, $500,000 and up the first year. It's a $17,000 buy-in. You're going to get $1,200 back on by just purchasing, okay? And then after about 6 or 7 or 8, I forget the breakdown of the quad, but 6 or 7 sales itself, your initial investment's paid off. After about 27, 28 sales total, you know, you're a 6A. And see, the whole approach now, if someone goes, wow, I want the quad, I want that 16, 17,000 buy-in, but maybe I'm just not there yet. But now you're going to be able to bring them easier down to a full pay K8 and a UCON, very easy from that 17 to the 8 than you would if you just started off with just a machine. And so there's a whole psychology too that we need to learn when it comes to this business, and how to present more value, make it a bigger opportunity. And that shift is going to attract the business-minded individuals that are going to want to see the results, and they're going to want to duplicate that. And because that's where kind of I see kind of what you hit that roadblock was, oh man, I gave out lots of water. I talked to a lot of end users, a lot of customers, 90 machines myself, but I don't have a team. You know what I mean? It's because you started from such a struggle place. Like, and I can relate, because that's exactly where I started from, right? But now you're at the point, you're not going to do that anymore. You want to attract, you're looking for leaders, you're looking for entrepreneur-minded individuals, because the first thing I ask somebody when I meet somebody, because it's...
Well, yeah, we can't hear you. What happened? You clicked on something.
Can you still not hear me? How about now? You hear me now? I already know what it is. When I touch this mic, certain places, I press the mute button. So basically it's this. It's when I talk to somebody, right? If I meet somebody and I go, in my mind, I'm evaluating them, like, well, this could be someone who's going to be my next 6A. The first, after getting to know them, I'm going to ask them, do you have a spirit of an entrepreneur? Or do you have a spirit of an employee? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What do you want to achieve out of life? Mm-hmm. By asking the right questions, and if you continue to ask the questions, you're always going to be the one in control of the conversation. The minute they ask you a question, I turn it around as a question. Oh, they said, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm semi-retired. But let me ask you, you know what I mean? Is what you're doing, is it providing the lifestyle you desire? They're like, whoa, wait, hold up. You what do you mean you're semi-retired? You know what I mean? So I'm always putting value, talking very less. In the very beginning, as you know, when we're doing ENAGIC, we're talking too much on the product, too much on the water, too much. We're excited, but it's over their head. They can't relate anyways. You just want to get to know their need. And I know you've been through this, and I know this is the shift that you can relate to, is because I notice your reels, what you talk about, how you're presenting yourself now. You've kind of seen that transition, and now you're like, you know what, I'm going to make the world my backyard now. So I wanted to throw that out to everyone that's listening. There's stages and there's different levels we go through and we transition to from doing ENAGIC, from the 1A mindset to the 2A mindset, to the 3A, the 4A, the 5A mindset, to the 6A, and then even the 6A2, -2, and -3, because there's a lot of leaders that I know that are stuck at 6A, stuck at 6A2, because they don't see -3. I literally, I'll even throw his name out there. He won't care. I did an interview with him a couple weeks before. Omar Ramirez, who's a -3 right now, working on his second -3 as we speak. It's almost done. But he stayed at a 6A2 -2 for 5 years. And I asked him, I said, bro, why are you stuck at a -2? I'm not comprehending. He said, what do you mean? I was told you make more money here. I heard you don't make as much money. I said, who told you that lie? who? I'm your upline. I don't want to say upline, downline. I'm your mentor, bro. I know what I'm talking about. When I broke it down to him, within just months, he was a -3. Months, and he goes, I can't believe how much more money I'm making now. So so my thing is this: for those of you that see ENAGIC as your home and you want to go all the way and you want to go 6A and beyond, you need to study the entire comp plan. If you don't have the documents, ask your 6A or 6A2. We have it. We'll send it to you. It's very simple. Study it, master it, because you want to make your goal -3. But first your goal is what? When you're 1A, it's 3A. After 3A, it's 4A, 5A. As soon as you hit 5A, you're like, dude, 6A is around the corner. And then as soon as you hit 6A, you reevaluate your business. Look at your business and go, oh, I have a strong leg here. I have a weak leg here. This person's going to go all the way. I need to buy a new position. And now I'm going to build out this position in the 6A. And then also before you know it, you're like, wow, this one's almost a 6A2. This one's a 6A2. Now I see -2. Then when you're at -2, you reevaluate your business and go, okay, how do I get to -3? You see what I'm saying? So there's different levels, and it's very easy to achieve. Just become that master recruiter like Mehdi and like his wife, 90 sales. So they're hunters. They're ready.
They're farmers now. We're doing both. That's what I'm saying. We do it all. Whatever we learn, we apply. Because the best way to figure something out, if it works or don't, is to do it. You know, so we
100%. 100%. And I'm gonna give it to you guys. I mean the machine. You show me pictures. Hey, look at this under the counter unit I just installed. I don't know how to do that. I'm like, whoa, that's amazing, right? So I just know that your business is going to shoot through the roof when you really make that transition, and you leave your comfort zone, like you said, because you've mastered every skill that it takes to make this thing happen. Now you just need to attract a different type of mindset. And you know what? Honestly, people are a product of their environment. You know what I mean? So I see teams that are flourishing, and the teams that I see that are flourish are like teams that are like more like, you know, Orange County, San Diego, than if teams that are in Fresno, they're moving a little bit slower. You know what I mean? So, you know, teams that are more in around cities, like Florida's thriving. You know what I mean? So it is about if you're not living in that environment, then you need to go online, right? So and I'm not trying to say you got to move, because we have huge leaders in Oklahoma. Michelle Rayleigh, who's a -4, she literally says, I think I have like 1,200 people in my town. 1,200 people in her town in Oklahoma. You know, and she crushed it. I said, how did you do it as a stay-at-home mom? And she said, man, I just took over my town. I took over my town. Everyone was a stay-at-home mom, and I was in the churches. I was in the communities. I was running. Now she's got this huge online system that she's got going on. So everyone's transitioning. So you want to master both offline, online. And that, my friend Mehdi, that's what I see you doing right now. So you're crushing it. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add. We're going towards the end. Any nuggets you want to drop?
I mean, honestly, the last thing I'll keep you guys with is facing the fears, man. Like facing the fears and building your belief. So they're both in the different spectrum. So when you face your fears, you're able to live out your dreams and start living life by design. And that has been the biggest awakening. It doesn't matter what struggle you go into. It might be struggling you thought about asking someone in the grocery store about why they're deciding to drink that plastic bottled water. And if they know, maybe that could be your fear. Or making a video. I remember I used to go pale when I used to be in front of a camera. I used to freeze. I wouldn't be able to do anything. I'm like, what's going on with me? Why am I not speaking? And it's just certain things that we have to go through. And I was willing to go through the steps, you know? So follow your heart, like lead with your heart, grow your intention, and like ENAGIC is home for us, is where we planted our flag. And this is just the humble beginning of a new start for what we have going on. So Appreciate you, Adia, everyone that was on this call. If you're watching the recording, thank you. You know, it really means a lot for us to be sharing our vision in our little way and how we were able to make a little dent, because it's all about leaving a fingerprint whenever we're gone. And it's not just living this lavish life and not thinking of the next generations. And I really want to take my next generations in mind and live for them as I'm living for me and my family. I can impact the world as well and live it then. And that's what we're doing, man. And I appreciate you for always being the leader you are and giving us the examples and paving the roads for us, because, you know, it could be night and day. And now I see when you say black and white to HD, for, you know, HD to 4K, it literally enhances your life, the ENAGIC experience. And that's what we have here. And it's all about sharing this experience with the world and hey, believing in the creator and knowing that your purpose is to serve. And I think we are doing a good job in preparing to keep doing more. And I think that's our biggest thing right now.
And that you are, brother. All praise be to God. Now, before I end it really quickly, I do see someone in the chat. They were asking a question about why 4 units or why 2 K8s. You guys got to understand something. Like if you're looking at ENAGIC as your home and you want to represent ENAGIC to the fullest, you need to have all the products. Okay. So for me, when someone says, "Oh, do you have the Inespa?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have 5 of them. We got 5 bathrooms. I have 5 of them, 5 showers." Right? I'm not going to shout. As a matter of fact, there's team members, and I know you've probably done it, Mehdi. You've traveled with the Inespa.
Oh,
you know, you go to hotels. Because when I go to a hotel and I'm showering their water without an Inespa, I'm like, man, I'm dry. I'm scratchy, I'm itchy. So you can't live without the product. And someone says, well, why more than 1 K8? Man, from the beginning of doing this business, I had more than one machine. I had a machine. By the way, we didn't have K8s when I first started. You know, my first machine, I couldn't afford a K8 because my dad literally told me, he said, son, do you want me to teach you how to fish, or do you want me to give you a fish? I said, don't give me anything. I don't know handouts. Teach me. He said, go buy your own machine. I couldn't afford an SD501 at the time. So I purchased the cheapest machine that they had, which was the Sunnis. They don't make that anymore. It's extinct. It was
blue one, right?
$100. Yeah, the Sunnis. I think I gave it away one time. I shouldn't have. I should have kept it as a replica of, like, you know, dinosaurs. Right. And so, but I had an SD501 in my kitchen when I purchased one, and I also had one in the back of my trunk because I was doing demos every single day, every place. So I was always ready to do a demo. I also had machines as loaners. Mehdi, I'm looking at the back of your room. I see like 5 machines right there. You got a Platinum, you got a K8, you got SD501.
Yep.
So I also have a super SD501 in my laundry room.
That's the next one I'm getting, man.
And then the Ucon, man, you absolutely need Ucon, because Ucon means you're doing the business. If you don't have Ucon, you're not doing the business. You're wasting your time. You're just a customer. When someone says, why do I need Ucon? Look, I said, you want to transition from a customer to the business? Well, what do you mean? I'm doing the business. Why do I got to? I said, no, you're not. You're moving like a turtle. You're moving slow, and you have the capability of moving like a rabbit. You're holding yourself behind. Why am I holding myself behind? Because you don't know the power of Ucon for the opportunity. And when I explain it to people, they scale so much faster, so much quicker. So you guys need to understand the products, the value of having multiple products and multiple positions at the right time of your business. And the more you do, the bigger picture of the value of the vision, you know, and the credibility, the more that you're going to soar. So I wanted to answer that one question when someone said that because they were confused. I mean, I knew someone that had 10 machines, and they would literally, when they would loan out a machine every month, they would charge someone, I think it was $100. 10 machines, each machine they'd loan out for $100. So then they make $1,000 a month from just loaning it out. When that person was ready to buy, they'd say, I'm going to take that $100 and I'm going to apply it to your down payment.
Powerful. And it was their own money.
It was their own money. So, like, my point is, yes, it's you want to invest in yourself, you want to invest in this, you want to go all the way, and you want to represent it to the fullest. And you're seeing Mehdi and Magali doing it 110%. They've done that and beyond. I mean, I didn't change my house into an ENAGIC office, and I've been there, guys. It's beautiful. Literally, it looks better than some of the offices that I've been to an ENAGIC office. You know what I mean? So I thank you for your time. I thank you for your wisdom, for everything you guys do. Look, guys, it's about your legacy. This is why I do what I do. Plain and simple, bringing him on stage. He's homeschooled. He's glued by my side. Society is, you don't want society raising your children. You don't. Society raised me, and I ended up in the worst place that you can be. So I you know what I mean? I know what it's like. So you want private education. I don't even like to use the word homeschool. No, when people say, what do you, I privately educate my child. You know what I mean? And not only that, he's with me 24/7. It's the best feeling in the world. And he's 5. He's 5.
His dad. So imagine the power in that. You know, seeing you walking stage.
100%. 100%. When people speak to him, they think he's like 8. His vocabulary. They're like, and he's around other kids that are 5. They're like, Dad, why are they talking funny? I'm like, because they're around other 5-year-olds all day long at school who don't have a big vocabulary. He's just, I look at this guy. He's a smart little guy. So I love you all. Thank you for all being on this call. I love doing these 6A interviews with these stars. Thank you, Maggie Lee. Thank you, Mahdi. Man, you guys are powerful. Thank you for your inspiration, your motivation, your education, the empowerment that you've delivered tonight for everyone on this call. And what's it about? It's about overcoming trials and tribulations and struggle, because those are nothing but character building days. Look at the character. Look at the faith these two are representing. Talk about roadblocks. Talk about man, you had more limitations than me, and I used to be on parole. Like, man, it blows me away. And you weren't. And you had more struggles that you had to overcome and hardships, and you're soaring, man. So thank you for sharing that. This is a powerful one. Thank you all. God bless you all. And we will see you next Tuesday night around this time, 6:00. And that's what's about. You know, when you show up for yourself, the rest of the world will show up, and the results will show up for you. So God bless you all. Have an amazing 9.5 evening or day, whenever you're seeing this, and we'll see you next week. God bless.